everybody, and welcome to this episode on the Nutmegs and Knee Slides podcast. Now, match day one of the Premier League is nearly done. Chelsea and Fulham are still yet to play in Monday Night Football at the time of this recording. So, yeah, can't really give my much opinions on that game right now. But, yeah, I think the majority of the Premier League games have happened now for match week one. And we're going to start off by discussing two teams who were abysmal at the weekend. And we're going to start off with my team, Manchester United. I mean, when I went to Manchester United against Leeds last season, I remember watching that game, and we were on a good run. I think we'd only lost under Michael Carrick like one game. It was the one at Newcastle, and then we lost that one, obviously. But we only lost that one game. But I remember watching that game, and I was thinking, you know, I do not have high hopes for this new season, and I hope I'm wrong. I want to see Man United do well, but at the moment, I do not have very high hopes that we can do a lot this season. Like, we have been sold. Well, I shouldn't be saying sold because that's an ironic word to use. We have been sold so short by our ownership in this transfer window. Like, you look at Manchester City, who obviously they've sold players for crazy, undeserving money, but like, we'll talk about them in a bit. But like, you look at who they've bought. Like they bought Elliot Anderson, 106, 100 like what, 116, 125 million pounds. They've just signed Bouadi, the Moroccan kid in Lille, for 100 million. You know, um, by the way, off topic, Erling Haaland cut his hair. I mean, I've been thinking for a little bit now, what would it look like if he did cut his hair? What would he look like with a buzz cut or like even just his hair for his like first little bit of Dortmund? But I don't know. I think he's made his man bun too iconic to replace, really. Anyway, back onto the topic. City spending like 200 million on those two players alone, two big midfield signings, to replace Rodri, to maybe be their Kevin De Bruyne replacement, to be their Bernardo Silva replacement. Money, money, money. Money is at the hands of Manchester City at the moment. You know, um, you look at Liverpool, who have spent a fair bit of money on Jaquette, on Victor Munoz. They've spent money like they've spent decent money too. Liverpool, Ronaldo Araujo. I know it's on a loan, but potentially a 55 million buy, and so that's with that money, that's about 100 million. That could shoot up to 200 as well if they go in for Bradley Barcola. Chelsea buying Chelsea meant to be on a transfer ban. Morgan Rogers for 117 million, and all these other younger players, and Lacroix going to Chelsea. Um, yeah, even Tottenham, 17th place Tottenham, spending 100 million on Tonali, 85 million on Mateus Fernandez, 52 million on Van Hecke. They signed Robertson. They've signed in what, Marmoush now for 50 million, Savinho for 80 million, and all that. Like, that's the thing. Manchester United, as of this point, have officially only spent 80 million in 2 months. 80 million. It could go up to about, what, 130, 140 million when the Belieber signing becomes official. But, like, that is. I mean, that is just. Manchester United has always been a buying club. We've always been a buying club. We've always been the club that buys the players because we are the biggest club in England, if not the world. and we are just we have unreal revenue from our unreal fan base, our unreal um, presence in the market and branding because we're that big. We've always meant to have money, you know, and like that's why it felt so weird to hear Sir Jim say, "Oh, we could have run out of money by Christmas." But yeah, in a season where you look at last year, even this year, even in this summer window, I've seen so many people making videos or posts on social media saying Man United have got two good players in every position, and I'm like, what are you talking about? No, we don't. We've spent hardly any money in this transfer window, and we are, and the whole game shows for it. Like everyone's saying, we've got the same back four that we did like 5 or 6 years ago. Like we still got Diogo Dallo, we still got Luke Shaw, we still got Harry Maguire, we still got Lissandro Martinez. We signed Lenny Yoro, we've signed Mazraoui, we signed Aiden Heaven, but like you don't know what to really think. Like that whole game, Grant, the two players, honestly, Andre Santos and Tielemans both got to start, and they were awful. To draw away from the transfers, I blame that we've been left so short. We want a left winger, we want a left back, we want a centre back. We need an actual striker, maybe someone who's in their prime right now. Maybe it doesn't cost 100 million, but like someone who's a proven Premier League goal scorer right now. Because Sheshko, as good as he is, he's got potential to be great, but he's still a kid. He's still a kid. He needs someone to learn from. He needs someone who can take the ranks as centre forward of Manchester United while he's growing. But like aside from the ownership, I mean the players were awful. I don't blame Michael Carrick, to be fair, not yet at least, because I think he did what he could. The only thing I blame Michael Carrick for is he's made a few questionable decisions with his team selection. Like I'm still not convinced about Patrick Dorgu consistently playing at left wing. You know, I had no idea why Aiden Heaven is starting in the game because like why is Aiden Heaven playing? Is it because Michael Carrick thinks it's going to be an easy game because it's Hull City? Because there's no easy games in the Premier League, let alone the first game of the season where you really need to set your pace down, you need to set your tempo, and he's played Aiden Heaven. Like, why don't Martinez is on the bench? Why don't you play him? Why don't you play Lenny Yoro? Like, why? Why? I mean, like honestly, Yuri Tielemans and Andre Santos, they were awful. They were gash. They gave away too many balls. They step over the ball, like trying to leave a pass for when there's no one behind them. Um, you know, they yeah, it just that didn't go off. Bruno, player of the season last year, he's meant to have another good one this year. He's he looked really he looked slow and off the pace. Defense lacked. Cunha. Some of those players, Dorgu, Cunha, and Burmo, they need to learn to like read the game, read the field, and realize I'm in front of goal. Take a shot. I've got my back to goal. Just swing a boot around, swing your boot around, and just shoot. Hit the ball towards goal with a bit of luck, it goes in. Take the shot. I mean, it was just awful. Senna Lomans was brilliant for that first bit when he was making save after save. Honestly, there's nothing they could do about the goals they scored. But like honestly, like it was absolutely shocking. They made Ollie McBurney look like Ollie McBurnino. Uh, It Hull City were good, right? It was cool as an Australian to see Lucas Harrington come on, but like same thing as I said with Tony Popovic in the World Cup. I mean, Hull City playing a 5-4-1 formation. When you do that and you take advantage on those set pieces, all you have to do is score, and you can sit back. That's all you have to do, especially when you're 2-0 up. And that's what they did. If anything, they made better attacking chances than Man United did. Like, not once did it look like we were going to pull a goal back. The only thing they had that was going to get a goal back was belief. The only thing was belief. I thought United could get back into that game because I'm like, oh, I believe. I'm a United fan. I know we can win this. I've seen United come back from low results like this in a game. They've pulled comebacks that have been amazing. I did not once think, yeah, we're gonna win this game because we're playing better than Hull. We're making better chances. They didn't. Or honestly, I think that they were too slow. It's like they're just playing like it was another preseason game. The work rate has got to improve, and it's got to improve fast because honestly, we cannot afford to have another season like we had in 24-25. We can't afford to have another 21-22. We can't have another season where we don't qualify for Europe, where we finish like sixth or seventh or eighth, where we don't qualify for European football, where we don't win a trophy. We can't keep having these seasons. Not anymore. No more. Carrick has been brought in to because he's had a great interim spell, and Ineos have clearly looked at that and gone, "Hey, this is something very good. We can build off this. We can do this. We trust the guy. You know, but you can't look at him and go, "Yep, he's done it. He's taken us all the way back into the Champions League. Imagine what he can do next season. I think he's got this. He's got this. Let's leave this up to him." No, Ineos, you've got to back the man with money and transfers because you are as important to this club getting back up there as he is. All right, so everyone at United's got to take responsibility, I think. Thing is, though, stats have come out, as they always do again, saying Man United have only won, I believe it was 3 of their last 7 opening weekend games. But do you know what? I actually I looked at those stats and I thought, well, hang on a second. You see a pattern going on here. Those games that let's go through it. 2020-21, they lost on the opening day to Crystal Palace, but that season was a good one. They finished second. They got to the Europa League final. 21-22, they beat Leeds United 5-1 at home. Bruno scores the hat trick, and they had an awful season. Finished sixth. Solskjaer got sacked. 22-23, Ten Hag's first season. They lost on the opening weekend to Brighton, and in the end, finished third. FA Cup final, win the Carabao Cup. 2023-24, they beat Wolves at Old Trafford on the opening day. I know we win the FA Cup, but the season itself was poor, bad results, awful in the Champions League. Yeah. 24-25, they won again against Fulham at Old Trafford on the opening day, and 15th place, lost Europa League final, Ten Hag sacked, Ruben Amorim, everything like that. Last year, 25-26, lose to Arsenal on the opening day, go on to finish third and qualify back for the Champions League again, and now this time we've lost. Now you look at that and you think, well, look at that. On those seasons where we've lost the opening game, we've actually had a good season. On the ones that we've won on the opening day, we've had a bad season. So is there a pattern going on there? Does something kick in at Man United? Maybe do the players like certain players in there, like Luke Shaw, Bruno Fernandes, they've been there, Harry Maguire, they've been there for all those games, and all those players are definitely leaders in that team. So, do they have an experience? Do they have something that's going to draw United back out the mud? I hope so, because, like I said, we can't have another one of those seasons. We need to get better. We need to get stronger. We need to look much, much better this season. And that's a given for Man United. We're going to be playing Champions League in a few weeks' time. So they need to sort out whatever went wrong at Hull, whether it's the players, the ownership and transfers, whether it's the players' attitudes, whether it's Michael Carrick and his team picks, and how he chooses to break down a team like Hull City, who are going to defend and are going to struggle to adjust, but seem to have adjusted really well to the Premier League already. Like, everyone's got to take responsibility. Everyone's got to look at themselves. Because as a fan, all we can do is support the team, and we are going to support the team no matter what. But they've got to look at themselves. I think we got Ipswich next. Similar Hull. They've just come up to the Premier League. They've just beaten Sunderland. How do we win? Because if they don't win against Ipswich, there is going to be some serious questions that need to be asked about Manchester United. Because in a couple of weeks' time, it's going to be a Manchester derby, and that's going to be really, really big for Michael Carrick and the whole of Manchester United. Think you're better than me at fantasy football? How about we find out? If you want, join the Nutmegs and the Slides Fantasy Premier League team before the season starts, and we might just have to sell this in the game. Or the players will. Join code is LAKPH4 for anyone who's interested. So, I'll see you there. Now back to the video. Now stepping over to the other team. Just when you thought losing 2-0 to Hull City on the opening day was bad, a couple hours later we get Tottenham losing 3-0 to Brentford. Oh, wow. It could have been 4-0 if Eagle Thiago had scored his penalty. 4-0. Like, I mean, Premier League, I can't remember his name, but the Premier League commentator, Premier League's official commentator for that game, new season, new signings, same old Tottenham. He said that as an official, neutral commentator, and he couldn't have said it better. There's no better way to put it. Tottenham Hotspur. I mean, maybe they need some time. I would not believe for a moment that Kinski, if Tottenham want to get up, grow as a team and get better, Kinski, he's showed it in that game. He showed it against Atletico Madrid. Like, Kinski, big signing when Postecoglou, I guess, brought him in, but you can't rely on him as your first choice goalkeeper, not for a whole season. Vicario's gone now, and they've not replaced him accordingly. And, we've seen what happens when teams don't replace their goalkeepers accordingly. So, yeah, Tottenham have got about a week now to try and fix out their goalkeeping situation. It might come down, I can see it coming down to the final day of the transfer window when they finally get someone. But, yeah, I know. I mean, like, Mikey Moore was probably their most dangerous player, and that's even after they've signed Mateus Fernandes, Tonali, Richarlison, Kudus, like, they've been there for a bit. They should know what they need to do. And it's like, Mikey Moore, your 18-year-old teenager who you wanted to send out on loan, is your best player in that game. He's been your most lethal player. He actually took Quibin Kelleher and the defenders on, and he still didn't score, still didn't assist. Do you want to send Kudus out on loan and keep Mikey Moore? I mean, Roberto De Zerbi did an okay job considering it was Tottenham and how they'd done so far last season. But, like, you look at Tottenham in that game, that is Jamie O'Hara. I think he said it perfectly. If they play like that all season, they're going to go down. And I can guarantee you that. Couple of other games, notably in the league. Manchester City beating Bournemouth 2-1. Late winner from Vardiol. Yeah, I mean, I guess Man City do somewhat deserve that win, Narrow win. I think people say it was hard for them, But, I mean, Man City. So, yeah, Man City. Something's wrong with a team when they're relying on their defenders to score goals. Like, I said that about Arsenal sometimes, but they don't rely on their players. They do have Gyökeres, they do have Saka, they do have Merino and Odegaard and Martinelli. Now they've got Solis, obviously. They've got Havertz, who they can rely on to pop up with a goal every now and then, But To have a game where you're chasing goals and you've got Mark Ahey and Guardiola who get you out the mud in there. Yeah. I mean, Man City, they will have a rough season, adjusting to life without Pep. But I think, yeah, it will definitely be. It won't be as bad as people might think it will be because they still do have good players, Haaland, Anderson, Gehi. Like they are still full of many good players, Manchester City. But will it be the same? We don't know. I guess only time will tell. Again, we only get one game per. Every team only plays one game a week in the Premier League, pretty much most of the time. So yeah, we have to just wait. Just last night, Newcastle versus Liverpool. I mean, I mean, Newcastle. Everyone's been saying. I in my football team as well. Everyone been saying, "Oh, Newcastle, they're in a rough place." Everyone's leaving. Tanami's gone, Gordon's gone, Guimaraes is gone. Last season, Isak's gone. Trippier's gone. Lewis Hall might go. Like all these players are leaving, and who do they have? And I still like, well, hang on a minute. They still got some decent players. They still got Harvey Barnes. Um, they've still got Botman. They still got Burn. They've still got um, Jacob Murphy. Those players aren't going to get you guaranteed European football, but you know, they still got Voltamada. They've still got Wissa. They've still got Asula. Decent players. And don't forget, they've not just lost the players for nothing. I mean, they've sold Gordon to Barcelona for an absolute steal from on their side. Like getting him for getting rid of Gordon for 70 million. Get rid of Bruno Guimaraes for like 80 million. They get rid of what's he called, Tonali for 100 million. Like that's like 250 million. Like now Newcastle, they can't be too complain. They can't complain too much about PSR because with the rules of how much you can spend, with how much you can make, and all that, how much you just generated, you could be looking at 350 million pounds to spend at the least. And there's still a week to go in the window. You got money. Buy some players. Give them some good deals. You could really really make something out of the last bit of this window, but only if you play the cards right. That new manager that came from Saudi, I believe was what's his name, Matthias Yasser or something like that. Um, yeah, I think he's done really well to get a result like that against Liverpool. Antonio Raiola's not going to win his first game as Liverpool boss, and I think Liverpool actually, somewhat lucky to walk away from that game with a draw. If it weren't for the late penalty, if it weren't for, you know, they've luckily got away with a draw. But I'm sure Liverpool fans will take that, and yeah, they'll look forward to next weekend now. Arsenal, beating Coventry, 3-0. I don't think it's anything else than what we expected. I mean, Arsenal, reigning champions, Coventry just come up from the Championship. Um, yeah, Arsenal just, yeah, a lot of people are going to favour them for the league title again, and rightly so, because, every team that wins it, they will obviously be favoured to go ahead and win it again next year. So, yeah, that's how it is, I guess. Um, and one more game I want to touch on is it's actually um, Aston Villa versus Brighton. And the reason I want to touch on them is because you look at that game, you think back to the last season, Aston Villa started the season very poorly. They went first 5 games, they didn't win a single one of them, and they didn't score a single goal. And there were some definitely very worrying signs for Unai Emery and Aston Villa. And then you fast forward to December, and then some people are labeling them as, swing for the title. Obviously, they didn't win the title; they got nowhere near it in the end. But you know, still, they turned it around pretty quickly. And I think that, yeah, I think that's still bad, obviously. Going your first 5 games without a win and not scoring a single goal, that's bad. I think the way that they've just started this season is even worse because I think they've already eclipsed that bad start. Like you to be losing 4-0 in your opening game of the season at half time with 10 men, that's awful. That is an awful performance from Aston Villa. And they're meant to be European. They've won a European Cup, you know? They've won the Europa League. There should be higher expectations for them to go forward and to better that this year. Maybe not better it because I know obviously that would be hard, especially for a team like Aston Villa. But there has to be some sort of fight in the players. And as well, Unai Emery, like some of his team selections, Ollie Watkins going to is rumored to be going to Al Hilal, so he's been left out of the squad, and it's like, well, you've got a week left in this window. If Ollie Watkins does not move to Al Hilal, which I'd be somewhat surprised if he did, because I believe Karim Benzema is leaving Al Hilal, but yeah, I think if Ollie Watkins does go to Al Hilal, I mean, they've got to prepare for his departure. Obviously, they have that new kid. They have Tammy Abraham now, but they have to look to get a new striker potentially. And if he doesn't go, then they've just kept him out the squad for nothing. And if that's not bad enough, look at the goalkeeper. I mean, you've got Emiliano Martinez, one of the best goalkeepers in the league. He's just come off a World Cup final with Argentina. Great performance by him in the tournament, to be fair. One of the best goalkeepers and Argentina's best player in that final. You've got him, and you've just got your new £35 million signing in Zion Suzuki. PSG wanted him. He's obviously not going to go there, and now you signed him. He's going there. So you got two great goalkeeper options, and you choose Marco Bizot. Like you're playing effectively your third choice goalkeeper in the starting 11. Both your goalkeepers are fit. They're not injured. They're not, you know, it's not like they're not ready to play. But I don't know. It's just what Unai Emery decided. And it's cost them because that is a bad result. 4-0 to Brighton. Lost the game at half time. I wouldn't be worried if I was an Aston Villa fan, but same as I said with Tottenham, if they play like that all season, it's not going to be good. Like, obviously, only three teams can get relegated, but doesn't mean only three teams can have bad seasons. There's got to be some sort of expectation that gets put on them. But yeah, so yeah, I think we've had an interesting start to this new season. And I think there is set to be more excitement. There are teams that are continuing to make transfer moves. Baliba's now going to United, Buhari's going to City, Liverpool want Barcola. I don't know what else Arsenal or Chelsea or Tottenham will do in this window. But yeah, I want to see more signings from Man United. I want to see us get stronger. We need to get stronger because remember, we're going to be playing probably twice as many games as we did last year. So we need to up the standards now and we need to get it going fast. And we need, we can't stress it enough, we cannot have another bad season. Right? Doesn't have to be better than last year because it's hard not to have a better one than last year because you look at how we did in the cup tournaments, like it's hard to do worse than that. It's impossible to go worse than we did in the League Cup because now we've qualified for Europe, so we're not even going to be playing in the second round versus Grimsby. But yeah, I mean, we have to have a better season. We have to go up. Carrick's got to show why we're going up, why he's been appointed, and Ineos have got to show that they back the manager by backing him with transfers and players. Right? Because Ineos, not that I want you to shift the blame, but if you do your job, there will be so much less blame on you. Same with the players, same with Carrick. If you do your job, there will be so much less blame on you if things go wrong. And that's if things go wrong. If everyone does their job, everything should go great, and United should win another league title. At last, I want United to finally win another league title, but I think before any team can really challenge for a league title, you know, they have to really be, they have to consistently be qualifying for the Champions League every season, But yeah, I think we're in for a good season though. I think we're going to have an exciting one. European race, title race, relegation battle. I think it's all going to be exciting. Other leagues are kicking off as well. Real Madrid and Barcelona have won their first games of the season. Bayern Munich have won the DFL Super Cup. Yeah, there's a lot of football going ahead. We're going to try and get together a live watch along when the Champions League draw gets ready to be done. But yeah, we are very excited for this new season and we have high hopes. Some of us don't. But yeah, give it a few more weeks. Give it to the new format international break because now we don't get the international break 3 games into the season now. Now we actually get 6 or 7 games where we can and then we go into a 3 or 4 week international break and then back into club football. So yeah, I actually really like that format more. I think less changes between international club actually allows for more games to be played in each lot. But yeah, I'm very happy by it all. I'm happy that United can hopefully get something out of this season. We're going to play in the Champions League, and I'm honestly so excited to see Man United be playing in the Champions League again. But yeah, um, hopefully we'll get another video out in the middle of the week talking about what's to come in the next week, any new transfers or anything like that. But yeah, I'm going to call this episode here. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll hopefully see you guys again very soon. In a bit. Nutmegs and These Lines is grateful for all the great. Nutmegs and These Lines is very grateful for all the great fan support we've been getting over the last few months. Now we're taking it to another level. We're now on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Spotify. Enjoy the podcast? Give us a follow, a like, a subscribe, anything you can. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again very soon.